Hey, you guys remember when you were in high school that cheer? B-A-N-A-N-A-N bananas. That's not how you spell bananas. But you guys remember that cheer, right? How you doing? Welcome to Groove Diner After Dark. I'm Buddy Gibbons. I forgot all that stuff because I was so lost in the idea of bananas. Why in the world? There's a crazy little thing that I just feel the need to share tonight about bananas. Yes, bananas. And I promise it relates. Bananas. You ever had banana candy? You know, you put a piece of banana taffy in your mouth or banana, now and later's right. Banana runts, those nerds things. They don't taste like bananas, right? Well, guess what? There's a reason for that. If you talk to anybody that was alive in the 1950s and eating bananas, now that's a key point. They had to be alive and eating bananas. They'll tell you that the candy tastes a lot like the bananas from the 1950s. Well, what happened? Panama disease. See, bananas, they're all clones. When you bite into a banana, is there a seed? No, there's no seed. There's no seed. So what do? The only way to create a new banana, take a slice of an old banana and make a new banana plant. Well, the problem is that makes them susceptible to diseases, right? So if a fungus, say something called Panama disease, were to attack the only variant, that's the virus. That's not a banana. We don't want to call a banana a variant. The only variety of banana that was around then, called the Gros Michel, by the way. The Gros Michel banana is all that anybody ever ate. And then the fungus, the Panama disease, came along and wiped them out almost completely. So now the bananas we eat, they're known as Cavendish bananas. And guess what? There's a new variation of the Panama disease that's attacking our beloved Cavendish bananas. What are we going to do if they wipe out the Cavendish bananas? We're going to have to find out what other varieties there are, right? It's got to happen. And how does this in any way tie into Groove Diner After Dark? Because tonight's guest, Randy Cook, is a freaking bananas drummer. Oh my gosh, we've had so much buzz, so many people so excited to see this interview. Randy's an awesome guy, a fantastic drummer, truly bananas, and I think you're going to freaking love him. Don't forget to go to the YouTube channel, subscribe. We're well over our 100 subscribers now. Thank you to everybody that subscribed. We don't take that for granted at all. Truly appreciate that. We should be getting the Groove Diner After Dark moniker fairly soon, within the next couple of weeks. So thank you for the support there. Don't forget the merchandise store. That's a big deal for us. Thank you for everybody. I keep getting pictures from people with wearing their Groove Diner shirts and their stickers and everything. That's so fun for us to see those pictures coming back.
Shot glasses.
Shot glasses. That's big for Eli, of course. And don't forget, next week's show, I want to put this at the top of the show tonight. Next week is It's Your Show. So that means submit your questions now. The whole show is going to be just me and you talking live, nothing pre-recorded, me answering your questions. It was one of our most fun shows last season. We think you're going to love it again. Send your emails to groovedinerafterdark@gmail.com, or you can just submit them right here on the Facebook page or the YouTube channel. Any of those places will be fine with us, okay? So stick around. We're going to have a bananas time. We'll see you in just a minute. This episode of Groove Diner After Dark is brought to you by Groove Diner After Dark, the store. That's right, starting with tonight's episode, you can tell the world of your love for Groove Diner After Dark by owning official Groove Diner After Dark merchandise. Coffee mugs, t-shirts, long sleeve shirts, a pint glass, stickers, and much more can be yours today. Simply go to groovedinerafterdark.com or click the link in this video description and get your gear today. Thank you for your support. I'm there. Oh boy. Merchandise looks good, man. I can't wait to see the stuff that you keep sending pictures. That's going to be great. So, tonight's guest, Randy Cook. He's Canadian, you know. That's more what makes him bananas. Okay, I don't even know what that means, but it was fun. He moved from Canada to here, to LA, and he has worked with so many different people, from Kelly Clarkson to Five for Fighting. Dave Stewart, of course, Ringo Starr, Mick Jagger. He worked a little bit with him here and there. Just all kind of crazy, crazy gigs that we all wish we had, right? He's an amazing guy and an amazing drummer, and we had an awful lot of fun chit-chatting. I want to say a quick hello to Toby. Thanks for joining us tonight, Toby. As always, it's always fun to see you. I think I saw Kendall go by there. How you doing? Nice to see you, Kendall Johnson. And I think Justin Scheidling said hello. Charles Anderson is here from South Africa. Good to see you, my friend. Kevin Hume. Yep, speaking of Kevin Hume, Kevin is the guy that first hipped me to Randy Cook. Kevin, I hope that you're doing well in Canada there. Kevin told me about Randy many years ago, and that was the first moment that I had any inclination of just who he was. And wow, was I just kind of blindsided by how good a drummer he is. So thanks, everybody, for joining us around the world. I know Australia is typically here as well. I see that everybody is sharing the show. We look forward to you enjoying the interview. And here we are. We're going to have a little moment of Randy playing. I think you're going to like this a lot. It's a little different than what we normally get. Very cool. Let's roll that, Eli.
Seen a doggone look in my eye. Why does the water taste a little like wine? Things go down and the sun never shines. Mama, maybe I'm intoxicated. I don't want to be intoxicated. Loving you is warm. Now the days go down and the sun never shines.
Welcome to Groove Diner After Dark. I'm Buddy Gibbons. I'm here with Randy Cook. Randy's list of credits, there's too many to literally sit here and name. I could read them. I've got a little iPad over here. I could read them off. So I will, at least a few. Five for Fighting. I dig some Five for Fighting. Kelly Clarkson, Breakaway, outstanding record. That one. There's a thing that I'm going to ask him about. And one of my favorites is Dave Stewart. I'm intrigued by that. Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about that.
We are.
And finally, Ringo freaking Starr.
Ooh.
This dude's played with Ringo. Thanks for coming and hanging out, Randy.
It's so good to be here, buddy. By the way, I just did want to say that Buddy Gibbons is like, when you hear your name, you just think of like a crooner, like a famous. I'm serious.
Yeah?
Like, oh yeah, dude. Like you got Blue Eyes, you got Buddy Gibbons. I had the Buddy Gibbons big band.
Yeah, well, that's totally me.
You should have a big band.
I should have a big band.
You, man.
I should come out and sing and do all of that.
Amazing.
I'm a better singer than I'm a piano player, so we'll make that work, right?
Oh my God.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I want to start kind of at the beginning.
Sure.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Canadian.
Yes.
You know, where are you from? did you do the whole pots and pans thing? Were you that kid?
I did.
Were you a rudimental marching kid? Were you a drum set kid? What's your story?
Everything you just said, right. I was all of that.
End of interview.
So yeah, thanks for coming.
Yeah.
So there's at one point I uploaded a picture onto my Facebook. It was a picture of me holding drumsticks. I was 4 months old.
Whoa.
And of course you can't even sit up by yourself. So
Right.
I'm propped up on a sofa. My dad's got sticks. He's got a marching snare drum. It's
Yeah.
almost as tall as I am.
Right.
You know, and my hands, and I actually am holding the sticks properly. My mom's holding me up, like, so I don't fall over.
Yeah, sure.
And so it started there. My dad was in the Toronto Scottish pipe band. He was a snare drummer.
Oh, nice. Okay, that's some serious drumming right there.
Oh yeah, that's way harder as far as I'm concerned to, you know, than just, you know, rudimental marching drumming, because all of that stuff swings.
It's so interpretive.
Yeah, it is, and it follows melody lines.
Yeah.
So it's not like 8 bars of a pattern and then you know.
Right.
But so I grew up around sticks and snares my whole childhood.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned, you know, the long roll was mama dada.
Sure.
That's how I learned that.
Sure, yeah, right.
I think the first 2 things was the long roll and the paradiddle. Those are the only 2 things I knew.
Right.
So it started like that. So I was exposed to drumming, and I used to, you know, go watch my dad march in parades and stuff like that. And I definitely wanted to do that as I started to get into middle school, grade 7, grade 8. But I didn't want to wear the skirt.
Yeah, right.
Just didn't want to do it.
Couldn't do the
want to do the kilt with the breeze and the whole. So
yeah, that is kind of cold.
I got into a marching corps. Not as crazy, amazing as like, you know, all the movies that you see. It was like a junior B corps, because I was 12.
Right, sure.
But it was still super, you know, military in the fact how drum corps are run. All the snares are the same.
Of course.
You know, tall guys had it bad, short guys had it bad.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you couldn't look at a judge. We always had to do competitions and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's how I got I started playing traditional grip and, you know, rudimental drumming and marching corps. So I did a couple of years of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then in high school, I wanted to play drum set. And I couldn't, because somebody else got the drum kit. So I ended up getting glockenspiel, which was awesome.
Indeed, yes. Because that's exactly the same as a drum set.
The teacher nicknamed me Cookenspiel, which awesome.
That's pretty good, actually.
I'm still in therapy about.
From this point forward.
Yeah, like grade 9, grade 10, you know, music. Here I am on a glockenspiel.
Yeah,
I wanted to play drum set. So I still didn't even own a drum kit. So I got my first drum kit for Christmas at 15. So I was a bit of a late starter as far as having the instrument
21.
to myself. 21. And look, and you're now like 26. So
yeah, exactly. 5 years.
Amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
So high school, grade 10 is when I got my drum kit.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was in Cub Scouts when I was like 10 years old, and I was buddies with all my Cub Scout friends. And it turns out that they were also musicians that I didn't really know.
Yeah.
And I joined this band. I was the only white kid in a 7-member black funk
That's
reggae
the only
band.
way to be.
So that's we were called Phase 4, IV, not the number 4.
Of course,
4.
yes,
just to be cool. And like, you know, it was amazing. I mean, we had outfits like that you'd see Earth, Wind,
like
and Fire.
The spinners and stuff like that.
You know, our singer and bass player, they were brothers, and their sister sewed costumes for, you know, I mean, it was just brilliant.
That's fantastic.
But that's my first, you know, sort of exposure to playing kit was like disco, funk, and reggae, and those are the only things I knew.
I was the only white guy in a black blues band. It was Delta blues artist named Johnny Shines, and he was like 173 years old at the times, right? And I was the one white kid, and I was playing drums, you know, and we'd go play these clubs, and it was amazing. That was talk about trial by fire and learning how to do that. I adored that experience.
And I mean, you'll agree that I think that it doesn't matter. I mean, everybody has different points of how they come up in their first, you know, exposure to music and drumming. In Toronto, where I'm from, you know, it was a rock city.
Sure.
You know, so you know, everybody had, you know, the Rush,
of
drumming
course,
books, and I think that it doesn't matter how we get to where we are. But I do think that there's something to be said about blues and funk and R&B as a base moving forward. Because of course now we all play rock, we all, you know,
right.
But it does lend a certain kind of feel and grounding and approach to, as opposed to because it gets a little mathematic.
I agree.
A little bit, right? A little drumnastic eventually. So I think that having that sort of dance funk, you know, reggae start helped my approach to how busy I would want to be or not be, you know, that kind of thing.
Right.
You know? So that's my story. I mean, I started playing in that band in high school, and eventually my hair got long, and I got to play rock gigs. But until my hair was long, I wasn't playing any rock.
And now
gigs.
we've all cut it off anyways. Mine was down to about here at one point.
I don't even want to talk about it. The pictures are out there. They're floating around.
There you go. See, I know. That's unbelievable.
I had the mane. I had a lion's mane.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah. No, dude. Just craziness.
I would not qualify mine as a mullet. Because it was long on top also.
Oh, so you didn't have like party in the back, business in the front?
I did not.
Okay.
But it almost feels like that when I see the pictures because I would do this whole pushback thing and it kind of sort of looked a little like that. But I don't think it really was. I refuse to accept the idea that I actually had a mullet. That's just not going to happen.
Did you ever have like the rack? I had a double rack. You know where you
did you really?
Where the cymbals
were hanging
from hanging down. Yeah.
Nice.
And at one point, I think I had a pink drum set. I'm pretty sure I had a pink drum set, or it was white with pink. Or anyways, oh yeah.
Remind me to tell you an off-camera story about a pink drum set.
Yeah,
I had a pink satin flame drum set.
I see.
I loved it.
The hair.
It was fantastic.
Pink flames.
Yeah.
Did you have pink? I had a pair of spandex shorts, biking shorts.
No.
And one leg was pink and one leg was yellow.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah.
No, you remember those big workout pants that people wore back in the day? The big puffies?
Okay, I know the ones you're talking about.
I was all about the big puffies.
Oh, dude,
I had lots of those. That was my gig attire of choice right there. Sounds like we're talking about the late 80s and early 90s.
Oh, my God. Yeah,
that's fantastic.
Enough of that.
I know, right?
That's my that's how I got from there to here.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Who's your drumming Rushmore?
Oh.
Yeah. Top
four of them?
4 of them would be ideal.
Okay, so my 4 would be, Vinny.
Oh, yeah.
Steve.
Yeah. Gad or
Stewart.
Oh, yeah.
That was big for me. Stuart Copeland was big for me because I was playing reggae.
Yep.
And there was this other white guy playing reggae and rock. And it was I immediately gravitated towards that, the music of the Police and his drumming and all that.
Yeah.
So, Vinny, Steve, Stewart, and I'm going to say Weckl. I know that, we talked about our love of Dave.
Yes, indeed.
Hi, Dave.
Yeah. Oh man, so you and I have incredibly similar influences. I mean, incredibly so. Because Stewart, I mean, Peisty and
sure,
I played Tama drums for a long time, and that was a direct influence.
At one point, my first kit that I saved up for was a Tama kit. I worked at a pizza parlor.
Nice. That's why you wanted to go to the pizza joint, isn't it?
Yeah. We were going to do this at the pizza joint. Oh well.
Next time. That's Steve Smith or Steve Gad, by the way.
Gad.
Okay. Yeah. Smith is on my list as well.
Yeah. No.
Yeah,
brilliant.
For sure. Yeah. Gad's rudimental style and all of that.
And that was that was the draw that I heard. I could hear it in his playing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the first time I heard 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover, I was like, what was that? I don't even know what I just heard.
Right?
Yeah. Some of the artists that I mentioned at the top of this thing, I didn't include Colby Kelly. I didn't include the Pointer Sisters. I didn't include some of the others. I always wonder what the common thread is when you're playing with diverse artists like that.
Sure.
What do you find that is that thing that makes that group of people hire you?
I think... showing up on time. No, I'm just kidding.
But I'm not. That actually makes a difference.
Yeah, punctuality. That's it.
It actually does
If the guy
matter.
can show up on time, give him the gig.
He brings his drums with him and sticks too.
I think that the thread, hopefully, I still think is serving the song, serving the music.
Yeah.
Being able to play in different genres comfortably and playing in context in those genres.
Right.
So once people see you, once people see a little bit of diversity, then it breeds a little more.
Sure,
in other words, if they go, oh, well, I saw him in a rock gig. Isn't he a rock guy? And someone else goes, no. I saw him on a pop gig or a country gig.
Right.
Then at least you have that going for you. There's a little bit of that.
Right.
But as far as like what qualifies you for the gigs, it's always going to be, can you treat this gig for it itself, like serve the songs that you're playing, as opposed to like square peg in a circular, circular hole. Like, I'm going to play this kind of fill over this. Like, there's some without mentioning any names, I heard a story about a brilliant drummer that had recorded a record, then got on the tour and lasted a month because he just wouldn't play the same thing twice. Okay. And we all have that deep love of improvisation.
Yeah, we do.
And, but I think when it comes to being hired by an artist or hired by a band, there's a certain amount of consistency, and commitment to what that music was, and there's a thing to be said about taking those songs a little bit outside live, so that you can, but still staying within the realm. And this guy just wouldn't do it. Like these, I think that's what the thing is. Do you just serve the gig, serve the music? And if your reputation is that you're reliable enough to do that, then I think that opens you up to other gigs like that.
That's cool. Yeah. So I want to know this. I moved here from a small town, and people basically thought I moved to Babylon when I got here. Right. Yeah. My question for you is, you are successful in Canada, in Toronto. Mm-hmm. What possessed you to make the big move to LA? Why? A
couple of things. I think that at one point in Toronto, and so many of my super close drummer friends are all in this same boat in that, and we were all in it together. Whereas we were all making a living playing drums. Sure. And high on the list as far as notoriety went in terms of the artists that we could play with in Toronto, Canadian artists. We were all playing, it's a very small community, so we were all subbing in for each other, and everybody's doing the same. But then you hit a bit of a ceiling, and then you just either go, okay, well, I'm going to remain, a big fish in that small pond. I'm going to stay, or you want to expand, you want to go, and throw your name in the hat and try. It was a gamble for sure. It's definitely a risk in it, and it comes with that, uncertainty of leaving a secure situation where, I'm going to get some sessions, I'm going to get some live gigs, I'm going to get a tour once in a while, and I'm fine here to when I moved here, I didn't move because I had a gig. Right. I knew a couple of Canadians that were already here doing well, that I knew would help me out a little bit. Right. But that was it. Like you have to come with a bag of money that you saved, and you sell everything that and you come and you move and you get a cell phone and a car, and that's it. Like so the other reason that I'm here was here as opposed to say New York. I know a lot of guys from Canada moved to New York or LA or London, sequestered sort of out here for a session once, and by a insanely talented singer-songwriter producer named Lisa Del Bello, who actually lived out here in LA at one point in her career, and was an artist and a writer. And Lisa was like, I have a session, I think you'd be great. And I know, you've played LA once or twice with Rick Emmett, but, she's like, I think you should check it out. Like, I think you should be over there. Yeah. I have a session for you. Let's go. So it was like a couple of weeks where I came out here and did a session for an indie artist. It was at a time of year where it was cold there and warm here. Already I was in love with the climate. And I got a little peek, at the vibe and the scene, and I wanted it. I wanted to do that so badly, and I really still credit Lisa for being the kick in the butt to she literally, got the budget and got me to come out here. They could have hired a billion amazing guys locally, obviously. Right. And even on that first trip, I met amazing people like Ross Hogarth and Jake Ruska, and like
Yeah.
to this day we're still buddies. And yeah, it was amazing. You know, back in that trip, I remember doing like a jingle or something with Ross Hogarth at Dave Stewart's studio, and it was called The Chapel, I think.
Okay.
Because it had this beautiful chapel-like
Oh,
room
nice.
where the drums would sit, and you know they have mics way up.
Of course,
in the thing.
yeah.
And I hadn't even met David. I mean, I would only
Of course.
you know heard of him, but that's how crazy that stuff came full circle. But
Yeah.
anyways, yeah, you hit the ceiling. I got a little glimpse of it from that
Right.
one session, and then I went home, and then I was like, "That's it. I'm gonna apply for my green card."
Nice.
Sorry, O1 visa. O1 visa came first, then green cards.
And now citizenship.
And now, yeah, I got my citizenship about 3 years ago. Yeah, woo.
Woo-hoo. Yeah, absolutely. That's really cool. You know, I moved out here from Nashville. I'd been in Nashville and was having a pretty good run. And I just liked the vibe out here.
I hear your accent, by the way.
Occasionally.
Old Nashvilleian accent.
A little bit.
Yeah,
I'm a
totally.
Mississippi and Alabamian kind of kid. A little bit. Yeah, just the occasional thing. My wife's is thick. Yeah, she's from Alabama and very, very thick. Yes, it was funny though. I kind of had the same deal. I was out here sequestered for about a month, and I was like, yeah, okay, I can dig this place.
Right.
And I was on tour. I won't say with who. And we were on the flight back from Detroit. I'm looking over at Eli. We were on the flight back from Detroit. We had just played this big festival out in downtown Detroit, and the whole band got fired on the way home. The whole band.
Who was the leader, Buddy Rich? No, I'm just
yes,
kidding.
I'm not
Just
even
kidding.
gonna. Yeah, it was about right. And I looked at my wife. It said, "Well, we're canned," and she said, "Well, why don't we move to LA? You've been loving it anyway. You've been working out there. Let's go."
Yeah,
So we packed up and we were
amazing.
here 2 months later.
Amazing.
So it takes that moment. Do you think that it's still important for people to live in a music city to make this thing happen?
I do. I think it's important until you don't have to.
Agreed.
I don't know. I still do. I've considered, living in other areas, but there's something to be said about bumping into.
Yeah.
And I can do that tonight or tomorrow. You know, that's not all of our work, as you know, but it's a good portion of it. And it relies on you being here
does.
and in the middle of
You
it.
got to be present to win.
Right. And I mean, everybody talks about how important networking is, and you can't network. It
yeah.
only works. You can't. I mean, you can unsolicited send messages, and but we all know that that's just not going to do it. So
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
I think that's important.
I agree with you.
Right.
I get a lot of people because I do so much television music. Hey man, can you help me get a song in a show or a movie? My answer is I would love to, but the fact is you really need to be here because there's 1,000 guys that are doing this exact same thing right here.
Sure.
So they're going to call the people that are local.
And I get the same thing with drummers that aspire to want to expand their work, and they're like, hey, if you ever hear of anything,
right.
But I'm like, well, even if I did, as a Canadian, I can tell you that the amount of paperwork involved is ridiculous.
Yeah, right.
Just that alone,
Yeah.
in terms of work visas and all that.
Yeah.
That stuff is a huge roadblock for any management company that's American.
Sure.
So, and again, just to throw a rehearsal together.
Right.
It's a flight and a hotel versus just drive over to North Hollywood or what know what I mean.
Drive over to Encino from Sherman Oaks.
This is the difference.
Yeah.
This is the difference. So it's important that you make that commitment. We all did.
Yeah.
So there's a reason for it.
That's one of the big things that the people that watch the show, we get a couple hundred that watch it when it airs, and then a couple thousand that watch it over the next 2 or 3 days.
Right.
And a lot of them are high school students.
Right.
So we get a lot of that. And one of the big questions that I'm asked is that very thing. Do I have to make the move? And the answer is, yeah,
you do. I mean, wouldn't it be great? Listen, it's not out of the realm of possibility that you can be plucked out of your situation where you live. It does happen.
Right.
It's just such a small percentage. So you might as well up your percentage and go to the city. Like, yes, you can be, look at artists like Avril Lavigne's from Napanee, Ontario.
Yeah, right.
I know I have family in Napanee, so I know what that is. But that's a small town in rural Ontario. Most artists don't forget about being just a musician, a side musician. But even if you're a writer, a singer, and an artist, again, you actually, for the most part, have to be in a major music center.
Yeah.
To have those meetings, to get noticed, to have those showcases, rub shoulders with the people that you want to.
Right. That's right.
So,
Did you have a moment when you went, I can do this for real? I can do this. Did you have that moment? Like, was there a situation when you went, yep, I am good enough. I am going to, or did you just never question it?
it wasn't, when you think about saying, I never questioned it, like, I think that might sound a little cocky.
I question it every day.
Right? As far as like that thought of it, put it this way. I think like most of us, here's a good way of putting it. I wasn't going to escape the passion and the love I had for playing my instrument. So if it was going to work, it was going to work. If it wasn't, I was going to just continue and be a failed drum, and have a part-time job. I'd still play. I'd still, you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
I think I was too sucked in. Like I was just too in love with playing drums and too in love with playing drums with people and making music and being on stages to ever think that there was anything else.
Sure.
So if it was going to work, I think that the moment of I can do this it wasn't really a moment. It's just like you eventually go, it's been a year. I haven't had a job. I haven't had to get up, and punch a clock. And so you're like, well, let's see how far,
sure.
Let's save some money just in case I never have. And that's what happens. And I'll tell you, there have been a few times where it's come close.
Right.
One of them was when I moved here, because as I said, I moved here and I didn't have any work.
Yeah.
And I had enough money. I had a finite amount of money.
Yeah.
And I had a finite, and also I had a finite visa.
Right.
So I guess the easy thing for me was it was a 3-year O1 visa, and I only had money for about 6 months. Mm-hmm. So do the math.
Yeah, right.
At the 6-month part, if I couldn't get I made sure I was smart. I made sure that I had low rent. I lived in a house with a bunch of other people.
Living on the cheap.
You know what I mean? Kept my overhead really low because I needed to stretch that money in. There was a point in that 6-month window where in the next 30 days, if I didn't get a gig, I'd either have to, make a phone call or I was going to put my tail between my legs and go back home. Luckily that I got through that. But again, that is the risk I took. And that's the, luckily, knock on wood, I'm still paying rent, I'm still, so yeah. There wasn't a moment, but it just kept going, luckily, and it's one of those things. I think we all still we're not getting out.
Sure, it's true. It's funny.
They pull you in,
dude, don't you?
Right?
Just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in. That's the most common answer is the passion of it all. It's just something that is so in us that there's no way around it. Those Facebook clips you put up, for real. Those Facebook clips, I'm like, yeah, okay, that's good. What I like is you take something normal and spin it ever so slightly.
Sometimes you want to squeeze a little bit of something extra in there. I think you can do it as long as you're sneaky about it.
And you're super sneaky.
I think you can get things in to sort of pop music where someone goes, wait a minute, okay, wait. There's a little more going on there. He's got
That's right. That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah. Do you ever see, especially I'm going to stay away from names, but if you see Instagram drummers.
Yes.
Do you ever want to burn your drumsticks when you see them, or do they make you go, I need to go practice, or do you think to yourself, what are they doing?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I know the answer. 10% it inspires me.
Yes.
And 90%, I'm literally driving to Home Depot to buy not one but 2 hacksaws, one for each, because I don't want, once one gets all dirtied and bloodied, I want to start with a clean one. When I was a young player, there would be drum clinics,
of course,
and I got to tell you, it's I'm not proud of this, but drum clinics with guys that just blew me away. I drive home depressed. I know that you're not supposed to. You're supposed to drive home
so
just
awesome.
Motivated and more determined than when you came, and that's really what they're for.
Yeah, right.
I've done them, so I know what I would like other people to get out of them. But that's why I think that again, when I do a drum clinic, I try and make it so that it really it hits kids and adults alike in a way that they can go home and do what I did.
Absolutely,
as
yeah.
opposed to going and just like being completely overwhelmed with
Yeah.
how great and technically astounding and whatever the terms you want to use. It just it's overwhelming to me. So I'll watch a little bit and go, woo, that was amazing, and on I go. And I find I gravitate more towards interesting grooves and playing and stuff like that. Like you said, I like a little extra,
Right.
but when it gets like on the drumnastics level,
Yeah, right.
I absolutely respect the crap out of it. And there is a part, I think, in every drummer and every musician, we see somebody do something that we can't do, and we go, man, I want to do that. I want to. What is that? What did you do?
What is that
Show
thing?
me that
Yeah.
right there. And really, if I did learn that, I would never be able to use it anywhere.
Right.
Whatever that amazing thing is,
Yeah.
that astounded me. It's not going to fit in my life.
My favorite Vinny story is Vinny's going up an escalator, Bissonette's going down an escalator, and they're meeting. And Vinny had just done a clinic that Bissonette attended.
Right.
And Bissonette goes, "What was that bass drum thing you did?" And Vinny says, "Right foot, right hand, left foot, left hand, right foot, like do it as triplets."
Oh my God.
And so,
Great. Even what you said, I need you to write that down
I
for
know,
me.
right? Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Yeah.
I can do it.
I think I know what you just said. Probably not, though.
I probably didn't say it right either.
All right.
But I love stories like that, and
Yeah.
that's so fun to me. I've done a few clinics too, and it's so weird for me when I'm looking out at drummers that I'm sure are better than me, and I'm doing my thing, going, yeah, well, this is what I got,
Yeah.
and I bring it to the table,
Yeah.
and I make my living with this.
Yeah, sure,
So,
sure, for sure.
Oh man, that's cool.
Yeah.
One sentence, hard to do. One sentence to the future of the world.
Right.
One sentence to the kids.
Sure.
Right. And if you have any sort of advice for the people that are dumb enough to want to do this for a living.
One sentence.
Yeah.
At the same time you're learning drums, learn piano or guitar.
Oh, great. That's so good.
Learn a melodic instrument. I didn't. I just know how it would have advanced me in certain other areas.
That's so good.
I sing a little bit, and so I'm able to sit in a writing session and offer up melodic ideas and of course arrangement ideas, and but I can't. At this point, I can't offer up a great chord progression.
Right.
I can't play you this, and I wish that I could.
Yeah.
I wish that I could. I think that had I gone back, I would do that. I would
That's
learn two instruments.
I like
I would
that.
make drums my passion and learn another instrument.
That's really good. I play piano badly and I sing, but I sing pretty well. So.
See? Hate you. Yeah. Everyone else but me.
No, I'm bad at it. I play just well enough to go, this is the idea.
Right.
Can you do that for me?
That's amazing. But that's amazing. I think that is so important these days.
Yeah, it tends.
By the way, the reason I also say that is because in after the many sessions and demos and live gigs and tours, you do learn that a lot of the money is in writing. It's not so much in don't get me wrong. It's an amazing life to be able to play an instrument, music, and just do that. Do what you love to do. That's already a win.
Yeah.
That's considered a success.
Yes.
But if for some reason you're ever wondering why that guy's got, why that or that girl's got, they probably wrote a hit song.
That's true, actually. Yeah, it really is. We talked about your drumming Rushmore. What's on your current playlist?
My current playlist is mostly made up of stuff I have to learn.
Yeah, right.
Or work on for a session or a tour. I still when I get in the vehicle, my stations are I have the reggae station on, and I have I don't know if it's called the Bridge or I can't remember.
Yeah, the
what it's
Bridge
called.
is one that's
again, I like listening to the 70s because it was all real drumming. It was all real playing.
right.
I can still actually hear Chet Porcaro, Steve Gadd,
I know,
Stuart
right?
Copeland. I can hear those guys playing JR. I hear all of those songs with those guys in them, and it's and I still love that. I still think that, because, if you hear EDM, you're not going to hear a real
that's
guy.
right,
If you
yeah.
hear like a lot of pop stuff now is programmed, which
It
to
is.
me, some programming is amazing.
Yeah.
But it's just not a guy playing a drum
Right,
set.
right, right.
So those are the things I listen to.
Right, sure.
I gravitate towards, and my other last station is the funk one.
Of course.
There's a couple. There's the Motown one. There's the soul
Right.
one. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up
Yeah.
with one final
Yeah.
incredibly important question.
Yeah, I fear that it will be.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it could literally make or break whether or not we ever hang out again.
Yeah. Okay. The pressure's on.
So it's problematic because you might not want to hang out again.
No.
Therefore,
I understand.
So it could be that
I'm ready.
that I'm setting myself
All
up
right.
here.
All right.
What is your favorite
Favorite.
Rick Springfield song?
Oh my God. I only know one, so I gotta just. I know. I don't care. Yeah, and it's the phone number. So I'm just gonna say that. I wish I knew enough.
You're saying
of his
Jesse's Girl. You
of
can't
his
say
catalog.
Jesse's Girl.
And you know what? I've probably played that song.
Yeah, I know, right?
About 1,000 times. There's a reason that it's a hit. I'm gonna go with that. I'm not even gonna say the title. Everybody knows what I'm talking about.
Fair enough.
Phone number 2.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks a lot for
Can you
being
still
here.
hang out with me?
Once in a while.
Yeah, right.
We're like once
Come
every
on.
6 months.
Come on.
Thanks for being here, brother. I appreciate it. It's
buddy.
been a lot of
Thanks,
fun.
buddy.
Let's hit it. And
Thanks for having me.
yeah, thanks for hanging out. So
Love it.
thanks a lot for hanging out with us tonight. We got more to come. Toby knows. That was the wrong answer. Randy, I know you're watching. That's the wrong answer. I don't know if we can hang out now. Maybe we can. Well, like I told you guys at the top of the show, what a great interview. That was fantastic. I don't know how much more fun we could have had in a 35-minute interview. That was such a blast. We're going to definitely see if we can get Randy back next season maybe. Also, that lick is right hand, left foot, left hand, right foot. So right, left, right. Played as triplets. Like that. Right, left, right. Thanks, Randy. Randy just said, haha, see you never. Appreciate that. That's hysterical. Some real takeaways from that interview. Living in LA or New York or one of the major music cities, it just still matters. There's really no way around it. If you want to do what we do at a super high level, you've got to be present. And I mean, the old adage is you've got to be present to win. And that's still as true today as it ever was. You know what I mean? Something that hit me, and I actually texted with Randy about this a couple of weeks ago. One of the things he said to me was he's very cautious and aware of the videos that he puts out on YouTube because he doesn't want to get pigeonholed as a rock guy or a country guy or a reggae guy or whatever. And I find myself in that same boat a lot of times. I always tend to want to put chopsy things up, and that's probably not the smartest move I ever did. So coming relatively soon, you might see a few different videos from me this time around that are maybe slightly different from the normal chopsy stuff that you've seen come out, because it's really just a small portion of what any of us do, really. I also really loved the piece of advice that he gave to the future generation. Learn a melodic instrument. Let me say that again. Learn a melodic instrument. Fortunately for me, I'm a singer. I play very bad piano, like I told you. But just like he said, the ability to sit in a room and contribute to the songwriting changes everything. It changes everything for you as a musician. Changes everything for you as from a financial standpoint. If you get songwriting credit on something that becomes a hit, then all of a sudden you can make residuals. And we're going to talk about that here in just a few minutes. It's really been something that I wish I had done, learned to play piano better. You know, I've picked up a guitar just at the beginning of the pandemic with the idea that I might play guitar. Well, I'm awful at it. I'm terrible at it. But who knows? Maybe it'll become a thing. I don't know. It's certainly something that I'm not writing off. And now on the note of songwriting credits and whatnot, we have Buddy's Beats. You're welcome. I'm glad that worked out for you there, Dan. Really. Dan's saying, for all of you that are wearing in-ears, that he didn't necessarily appreciate the Mike Eat moment. Buddy's Beats tonight. There's been an awful lot of discussion about Spotify. The big evil Spotify. So let me tell you my own personal story about Spotify. Several years ago, 10 years ago now, I think it was, I was a co-writer with two of my friends, and I played drums on and produced a song that was released on Spotify, and it was downloaded 7 million times. Not streamed, mind you, downloaded 7 million times. I can't even tell you how many times it was streamed. It was a giant hit. It stayed in the top 10 on Spotify for over 7 weeks, nearly 2 full months in the top 10. This was a giant hit for us. And when the royalty checks came, I made about $7.38. That's the problem with Spotify. I don't really care about all the political stuff that's going on over there at all. What I care about is that they don't pay artists. They don't pay us. If that had been standard terrestrial radio like you play in your car, I'd be talking to you from a very different studio. I love my studio, but it'd be a very different place. $7 and change was nowhere near enough of a payment for the amount of work and the number of streams and the success that song had. And the three of us split $22 or something like that, $23 for the three of us for that many plays and that many downloads. And that is the big problem with Spotify. That was the moment I canceled my subscription, and I absolutely refused to even open a link. People will send me Spotify links. Check out this. Nope. Not going to do it. Not until they start paying artists. So I always applaud people. Every artist that takes their music off of Spotify, I'm on their team. Absolutely. And I hope you will be too. So that's Buddy's Beats for tonight.
Now it's time for comments and questions from you, our viewers.
So, comments and questions. Let's see what everybody's talking about over here. Boy, have we had a rousing number of comments tonight. Let's see what else we've got. One, I want to back way up here. I saw it come through earlier. It was Kendall Johnson. Kendall, my friend, he said, this new season is becoming a huge psychological help for me because everybody is so weird. Yes, we're musicians. We're supposed to be the weird ones. It's so great to know that the weirdos are our people. They're certainly my people. And I love that. I'm glad that it's making a good impression on you and that it's helping in the context of your own enduring weirdness. And I can attest to your own enduring weirdness. I've known you for a long time. So I'm really glad to see that it's making a big difference for you. We have got people watching Canada, of course. Thank you for coming in and watching your hometown hero. It's always fun to have people from the hometowns. We got South Africa represented here tonight. We've got Australia here tonight. I saw everybody here. Joel Stevenette, nice to see you here tonight, man. We're going to have to get you on the show for sure. Definitely has to happen as soon as we can. We've had an awful lot of commentary tonight. This has been one of the shows that people have been anticipating. And I get it. It's been an amazing time to have Randy here with us. We've really enjoyed getting to know exactly what it is he brings to the table. So much of the conversation was off camera that, we could do 2 more episodes on the off camera stuff. That's for sure. Justin Scheidling, what is my drumming Rushmore of drum grooves? Oh, what a question. My goodness. My personal Rushmore of drum grooves. Wow. I would definitely say 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover. Paul Simon. That would be Steve Gadd, the great Steve Gadd. That's definitely on my Rushmore. There's a song called Love and Tears by a band called Maggie's Dream. That is on my drum groove Rushmore without a doubt. Stewart Copeland's Wrapped Around Your Finger. That one comes to mind. That groove, there's just never been anything quite like that one for me because it's so orchestral. It's so different from just the straight ahead rock thing that it could have been. And it took the song to a whole new place. I think that was amazing. A fourth one. I wasn't prepared for this question in any way. A fourth drum groove that really, Rosanna. I can't believe I almost forgot that one. Rosanna. I know there are other shuffles that people will cite. Well, it's a derivative of this and that, and the Purdy shuffle and John Bonham. And I don't care. Rosanna is the one that hit me right here. And when it hit me, my goodness, I remember when that song came out, hearing it, I thought of it as a summer song. And my goodness, what a summer it was, because that groove was so deep. It was something truly, truly special. Oh, let's see what else we've got over here. Hey, thanks, Veronica. I'm so glad to see that you joined us tonight. It's great to have you here, as always. Thank you. Toby, Frankenstein. Hey, it's always fun to play Frankenstein, right? Come on. How could it not be? Justin, that's a really great question, man. That's unbelievable. So don't forget, send us emails. Next week is It's Your Show. It's Your Show. We're going to be having your questions answered live on camera right here. We will not have a pre-recorded interview. It's just going to be us chit-chatting. So send your emails to groovedinerafterdark@gmail.com. groovedinerafterdark@gmail.com. And we'll get those. Or you can send them here via the Groove Diner Facebook channel or the YouTube channel. There's so many ways to get in touch with us. So please do that before next week, and we will be thrilled to answer your questions. Like I said, last year, that was one of our favorite, most well-received shows. It was a fantastic time for all of us. Toby, My Sharona. Okay, so because you live in the valley, that when you drive around and you see the Sharona billboards, that it's her, right? Sharona from the Kinks song is actually a real estate agent here in the valley. And she posts these billboards up all over the place, and it just trips me out that My Sharona is actually a real estate agent. I think that's fantastic. Kendall, every track on the 1984 release Synchronicity changed rock drumming paradigm as much as Rush's Moving Pictures. Yes, I completely agree. In fact, very often people wonder why Rush is not on my personal Rushmore. Sorry about that. Why Neil Peart is not necessarily on my list of most influential drummers. And I think it's because of what you just said. I was listening to the Police when other people were listening to Rush. So for me, the Police and Stewart Copeland hit me a little differently and a little harder, frankly, than Rush did. I mean, I certainly appreciated it, what Rush was doing, but it wasn't the same sort of impact for me. It was a very different way that it hit. And to this day, when I hear Stewart Copeland, man, I'd like to have him on as a guest. When I hear him play, it's really something that's kind of almost cathartic for me musically. Sometimes favorite bands are favorite bands because of how they make you feel about yourself as a musician, but also about where you were in your life when you first heard them, things like that. I'm seeing other comments. Let's see what we've got here. Thank you. Let's see. Don't forget to subscribe to YouTube. That's true. I needed to remind you of that. My apologies. Veronica, what age would be considered too old to begin learning drums with no prior musical knowledge? I'll tell you what. Eli and I traveled today and had a conversation with a future guest, Eddie Taduri. He's going to be on in a few weeks. And I think Eddie would say, and he's watching tonight, I would say that the answer to that is, and I think that Eddie would say, the day after you die. Thank you, Eli. I appreciate that. It was an absolute, talk about a great interview. Today we had a great conversation, and the truth is, you're never too old to start. If you want to start, go take some lessons. Kendall Johnson came to my master class last year in Mississippi, and he tells me once in a while how everything is, one sentence from that has changed his drumming life. He was 53, he just said, when he started playing drums. There you go. And certainly he was the oldest student at the master class, and that was what made it great to have him there. Veronica, that My Sharona, I'm assuming you're talking about, was an awesome song for speed skating in the 80s. Yes. whoa, right around and around the skating rink. That's so fantastic. I love it. I love it. Oh, Randy. Let's see. What is Randy saying? If you're not hindered by any physical restraints, you're never too old. That's the absolute truth, man. Drumming is, I've forgotten who said it. Was it Idris Muhammad that said it? I don't remember. One of the great old jazz guys said, drumming should be healing to the hands. And I've never forgotten that. If your hands are bothering you when you're playing, there's something wrong. Drumming should be healing physically, spiritually, mentally. And I completely agree with that. I am going through a personal catharsis with my own playing right now, changing everything from drum heads to drum sets to cymbals, just making things fit me better. And my hands are starting to feel this wonderful, warm, tingling sensation every time I play now that's been missing for a while. And I'm really enjoying it in a way that I haven't in many, many years. One of the tricks with doing this for a living is that it can become a grind pretty quickly. So we have to keep ourselves from letting that happen. So make sure that when you start playing drums, if you do, take lessons. Find a great teacher in your area. I mean, you live in Australia, that's a big place. Surely there's at least one great teacher down there. Surely. I know quite a few, actually. Robin Clements comes to mind. So you guys could definitely connect. I'm sure we could connect you with a great teacher. I think that's important. Let's see what we've got here. Kendall Johnson, my drums were and are my COVID project. That's exactly right. Let's see. Oh, Veronica, I'm glad that it's bringing you hope. I think you should absolutely jump right in. Head first. Well, maybe not head first, but feet first and jump in the deep end. Let's do it that way. Feet first, but deep end, just in case there's something under the water. It's a crocodile. You live in Australia. So we don't want anything, to happen there. All right. So that's about it for tonight. Don't forget, send us your question, please. Send us your questions for next week, please. We've already started getting a few, and I can't wait to have the conversation with you next week. It's going to be a great time. Thank you again, Randy Cook, for joining us for tonight's interview. I was so excited to have him, and it's been a pleasure. Thanks again, Randy, for hanging with us. And until next week, have a great, great, great groovy time. I can't believe I said that. Let's go. See you next week.